Okay, now we're going to carve out the neck pocket. You can draw this out on the plans, or I'm going to use a little template that has a center line placed on it. I'm just going to line this up with the center line and trace it out. Okay, now we've got the outline done. And then I'm going to take just a hole saw, and I'm going to measure the thickness that I want, and I want to cut down to a point where just above where I want the neck to be. And I'm going to measure that thickness here, and you have to allow for the thickness on that tip as well. And I'm basically going to go to the top of this bit, is where it worked out in the measurement. I'm just going to be careful to stop there. And then I'm just going to go around and take out the excess material in the pocket. And you can also do this fairly well with a router if you like. And then I'm just going to take a hammer and chisel and just straighten out the edges, get everything down. Or you can also use a Dremel tool with a nice flush bit on it as well. This bit would work really well too for getting the bottom nice and smooth. The nice thing here is that with your router base, you get a nice smooth bottom that's going to be square, or I guess I should say parallel to the surface of the guitar body. Now I'm just going to adjust it, taking a little bit off at a time. And working the edges as well and smoothing those up, and especially those rounded corners at the bottom as well. Then we're going to just keep working this until we get that thickness that we want to make the neck fit properly. And now here I've actually marked the final depth where I want. And I'm just going to continue to route this down a little bit at a time. I usually go with a little bit like this, about 1 millimeter in depth with each pass. And one thing to note, just be careful that you don't keep widening the outside edges of this and end up with a pocket that's a little too large and leaves a gap. You kind of want the neck to fit in it really snug. You can see here our neck pocket cut out to the right depth. And then these sharp edges here, I'm actually just going to take a file and round those over. I kind of just do this by eye. I mean, if you wanted to take like a little template and cut out a circle and file it down to that, you might get a little more uniformity in the look. But I just sort of file it down to what I think looks good for the guitar. And just be real careful that you don't break those edges, because right there at that thinnest point they're pretty fragile. Then I'm just going to touch it up where it meets the bottom of the neck pocket. You can see how I've rounded them over here. And now I'm going to round off the outside edges on the front of the body now. And I just do this with a rasp and then just a regular file that's a little smoother. And I just start with a coarse rasp and taking off the excess material there on the edge. You kind of start with like a 45-degree bevel and then sort of round it over from there. And you can use the round part of the file to get inside those corners and curves. And then you can take the smoother file and start rounding it over and get your final shape. You can see how that edge is starting to get rounded over now. And this you can do to whatever radius you really like. And then I want to take like some 180 sandpaper and just smooth it all up and finish it off. And then you can see kind of what the finished product looks like there, and just continue around the guitar.